Okay, great. Thank you guys all for showing up. We have a good amount of people here. Welcome to the online October community meeting. We've got a bunch of items, many more items than we did in person. Yeah, so let's get right to it. First up on the agenda for today is Measure E and the special election that we just had. Measure E failed with 75% no votes. This was an absolute blowout for the other side. Huge win for the community, the anti-special interests, the people who want to keep Redondo, Redondo. There was no official Measure E campaign. That's what makes it really amazing. I spent roughly 50-60 bucks on a domain and some software, and versus I think they spent $250,000 when all is said and done on the Yes on Measure E campaign. So do the math. That ratio, probably the biggest ratio ever in the win for a ballot measure. Win on our side, I should say, for the community. But there was also the recall election at District 4, and this is actually really important even for people in District 1. It's a citywide aspect, meaning it's a citywide impact. So if Councilmember Baji would have been recalled, there's some significant impacts that could happen. You have a special interest coming to town spending $121 signature to get it onto the ballot. That's $300,000. Then they spent another, like I said, $200,000 for Measure E and the campaign, the recall campaign. And that really just goes to show you how much money is in Redondo here that certain special interests are willing to spend in order to take control of cities. And in this case, they want to buy a council seat and buy our laws here in Redondo. And it's one of the reasons why in July, when we had this come to the council, I fought so hard to make sure that we had this conversation together as one singular conversation, because it's one group from Long Beach that was pushing this. It's been over $500,000 just to get it on the ballot. And I want to make this a very clear distinction for people to understand. $500,000 just to get it on the ballot. $500,000. $200,000, just under $200,000 for Measure E to qualify, then $300,000 to qualify a recall of a council member because they don't like what's going on. And then they spend another $200,000. I'm not sure exact numbers yet. Don't quote me on that, because all the campaign finance numbers aren't quite in yet for all of it. The last 10 days, who knows how much they spent. They had a ton of volunteers. They had employees out there walking. They had a lot of employees out there walking. They had a lot of mailers. They had door hangers. They threw the kitchen sink at this. I just want everyone to understand that they were dead serious about this situation. I got many reports of them walking. I saw them walking on my street 2-3 times. Multiple door knocks for a lot of people around the city. And of course, the mailers. Just flat out, I put the mailer away already, but just the flat out lies they had on the mailers. So I'm going to share the picture what I took last night to kind of show you how bad of a win. Share screen. Let me do a picture here. Let's see here. So this is the outcome last night. There were 9,627 ballots that were cast. Roughly 20-something percent, low 20% of voter turnout, or I think a 25, maybe even 25% voter turnout so far. They've got another 1,700 ballots to check. What does that mean? That means they're going to have one more count on October 26th, where they count all the remaining ballots. So if anyone put a ballot in the mailbox yesterday or day before or on Monday, or they put their ballots in the drop-off yesterday or Tuesday or Monday, those will be counted on October 26th. So I'm thinking there's probably going to be roughly 2,500 more ballots to count, maybe more. Last time when we had an election, all mail-in election, we had thousands of ballots come in on the last day alone. So it really goes to show you how well this community has turned out. So going down that path, what I think we need to remember is this community had emphatically said so far 73% to the no on recall on District 4. That's huge. It's a big number. That's a really, really big number. And of course, the 75% on Measure E. And even if they were to get every single ballot 100% yes, they would not be able to catch up to that. So here are the numbers, the tallies that were announced last night. They were counted during the day. The totals were kept secret on the computer. Nobody saw them until after 8 o'clock. And then that's when Eleanor let the numbers out. And yes, the background behind me, the video background behind me, is me in the chambers last night, and I was videoing Eleanor as she was announcing the numbers. And there's two guys, Elliot and Damien. Damien got up and left about a quarter of the way through, basically, and said to Elliot, I'm out of here. I had a long day. We got trounced, and we're not going to be able to catch up to this. And then Elliot stayed behind, and as he was leaving, said, we got destroyed. So, good work to the community. Thank you for all your support on this. It was a huge risk to take on our part, both on the council to move forward with the special election and to not have a real no on Measure E campaign. But I can honestly say I felt it extremely important that we, as a community, had a singular conversation about these cannabis guys who want to come in and take over our council and laws. And just for financial purposes, if the county would have run the special election for us, or the election, the Measure E on November 8th, and the recall, it would have cost around $200,000 plus or minus. And by us running our traditional campaigns, like traditional elections, like we traditionally always have, Redondo Beach have our own elections, not on the general primary that everyone else does, it would have cost around, numbers aren't fully in yet, but between 225, 250, right in there, 250 at the high end. And that number also includes, just so everyone knows, we're buying some of this voting equipment now. So next March, we'll be running our election off of some of this voting equipment that we just bought. And we use some new services that we've never used before. So while it is a little bit more on the expensive side to run a special election on our own, we're doing it with contractors and tools that the county does not use and we have never used before, which give us more access to making sure that all the voters get their ballots. If a ballot is printed and sent to them, a ballot is returned. It was a long process to verify voters and the machines that would do it. So there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that makes this an expensive process, and that goes along with notification. So it's only going to get better in the March now that we own some of this equipment and services that we actually physically own now. So really, that's a good thing. Makes our elections cheaper in the long term. So if anyone's had any questions regarding that, just go ahead and raise your hand or put it in the chat box. Let me know. Anyone? Gene Zimmer, your hand is up. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, my question is that you said we're running the elections kind of ourselves now and using that equipment, and we're going to reuse that in March. So when I vote with LA County, I usually get something from them saying, okay, we got your ballot, it's been received. I did not get that from Redondo. Are they gonna start doing that? Or we have that capability?
We will have that capability moving forward. Did LA County, did they send that message to you, or did they email that to you?
I can't remember if it's text or email. I don't remember.
Okay. I remember getting something too. I thought it was via email. They started using their email system a lot more than we have. I know we've gotten, LA County is doing a lot more mailing as well. Mailing is obviously a lot more expensive than doing via email. So that I will look into that, Gene, and hopefully I'll remember that. I'll have to write this down right now before I forget. It's a good point. We need to have that verification system. And just so everyone knows, I know I see Saveto's up next here. There's if you're marked by the county as an inactive voter, you won't get your ballot, regardless if it's our election that we're running, a special election, or a general election by the state. And so if you're registered to vote and you're considered active, you will get a ballot, regardless if you've ever voted once or twice or 1,000 times. So that's something we'll have to work on and look at as to who's inactive, and then that's, I think, an issue we need to work on. Jonathan, hey, your hand is up next.
Sorry, fighting a little cold here. Just want more than anything else, I want to say thank you to you for putting that website together. I think that gave us a great foundation to kind of be able to communicate things going forward. But this community here, I am just so impressed, and I know we'll have more opportunities to kind of say thank you to each other in the near future. But where I can, I want to say thank you to all of you that are here tonight on that stuff. And then I shared with Nils, I don't know if you have a chance or if you're able to get up on the screen, but I thought it was really interesting. I saw that Councilmember Obaji posted that there were 12,000 votes that have apparently come in right now, all total. And District 4 actually seems to be in the lead of how many votes were out there, which I don't think I've ever seen District 4 vote as high in the history that I'm aware of here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, take a look at it. He just posted it on his stuff.
Wow.
It's even ahead of us, which is like really surprising, but I think that says a lot. So.
Wow, I'm looking at my mail. Yes, highest turnout in this is District 4,
Yes.
2,666. That blows me away, because just so everyone knows, all the numbers that we've been getting. So I'll only read out the numbers of turnout by district. So District 1 is usually always the highest. District 2 is right behind by about 5 to 10%, and then District 3 is about 5-10% behind that, and then District 4 and then District 5. Sometimes they flip back and forth. So right now, so far, District 1, 2,603 have turned in. District 2, 2,425. District 3, 2,447. District 4, 2,666. Wow, cool kids on the block. And then District 5, 2,417. So they're actually really up there, really high up there too. They're almost with District 2, actually. In fact, District 3 is a third highest. So District 2 needs to get their act together out there. Yeah, that's amazing. That's really impressive. So voter turnout by age group, this is really important. 65 and older and plus, 4,688. 51 to 64, 3,536. 36 to 50, 28, 40. And then 18 to 35, 1,494 for a total so far of 12,558 ballots. So let me actually, I can check and screen share this actually for you on my screen here. That's those are impressive numbers. District 1, you guys here in District 1 always vote more than anyone else. So the fact that they are up there. All right, there you go. Oh, is that the right one? Uh-oh. Hold on. Share screen. Uh-oh, there's a corrected update. Hold on. There's a corrected update. Let's see here. Literally just came in as we were speaking, corrected update. So let's see what kind of numbers there are here. I guess screen 2, 3. It's weird. Okay. So this is the corrected update here. I don't know what the numbers are. Total ballots received 12,663. Let me zoom this in for you guys so you see it easier. It's on the left-hand side. So District 1, 2603. 2425, 2447, 2006, 2417. Yeah, that's still the same. I don't know why this is different. Okay, well, so it really looks like a 26% voter turnout right now. We usually get around 30% turnout right now. I know that there's still a ton of ballots that were mailed in, so we'll see what that is. The next couple of days, we'll get a couple more ballots coming in. So like I said, everyone got a ballot in the city of Redondo Beach, and yeah, So, Jonathan, anything else?
No, I just, again, can't stress enough. Thank you guys all so much for all of this.
Perfect. Andy Lesser, Dr. Lesser.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't know why my face is so shiny with this camera, so forgive me. This
Glowing.
I was I was worried, but this reaffirms my faith in Redondo Beach voters and residents that they can see through. This was like an avalanche of stuff for Measure E and for the recall. And a few days ago, I saw one vehicle drive on the highway with one of those electronic signs that said no on Measure E. Otherwise, there was nothing. Otherwise, nothing. Everything else was mailers, door knockers, and all of that. I had just emailed 40 neighbors. I had one neighbor, he couldn't find his ballot. Sent him and two other neighbors down to the city clerk's office right before 8 p.m. to drop off, because I was hoping if it were close, 2 votes, 3 votes would count. But obviously there was a landslide in the right direction. I don't know what the wording is in our ordinance. I don't know what the requirements or disqualifications are, but I hope that when the time comes that somebody wants to open up a cannabis shop in North and then South Redondo, the 2 allowable shops, that for whatever legal, moral, whatever reason, that this Elliot Lewis is not welcome in Redondo Beach because of the unethical behavior. I saw the video, the foul-mouthed quote, and I'm just appalled. I don't think this person should be welcome in the business community of Redondo Beach. And that remains to be seen, but I certainly don't want him here. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Good job.
welcome. Pleasure. So yeah, I'll just say that to close it all up, our city clerk, if you would have emailed city clerk for a verification or need a new ballot, they email you back pretty much, within an hour. Try getting that, somewhere else. But it all depends what we're looking for in an election. I think what was really smart with what we did here in Redondo was we made sure we had we got their personalities out in this campaign. They were, like I said, they were paying for the recall, running the recall. They paid for this Measure E stuff, and they're running the Measure E stuff. So I think it was really, really important that the community saw that. We had that conversation. So yeah, thank you. So no other comments. I will go on to hit so many yes on E, folks. Yes. No. I ran into some yes on Measure E, folks, and I took a good 15 minutes of their time. Spoke slowly, took my time. They were very nice, but it's all about time for their world. So the more time you talk to them. All right. So that is running that. Let's get to this. A couple of small items here, real quick. We had discussion with leaf blower updates. We have a ban on leaf blowers in Redondo Beach. Councilmember Rabaji made a motion to bring this discussion back to city council regarding just allowing electric leaf blowers. I'm a fan of that. We're paying a lot of money here in the city, and I don't think it's right that we're really enforcing this the way we are with gas leaf blowers, when in fact we're allowing plenty of other electric motorized things like chainsaws and everything else. I don't see the huge community benefit, especially when we have to send our cops out there. Our cops are good money. We're chasing them, and one of the reasons why I support bringing this back and is having this discussion in the council level is because this last spring I got about 30 inquiries. Let's just say it nicely, very directed inquiries about enforcement actions that were happening in the upper avenues. Specifically about the quality of life unit for the police department and code enforcement, literally driving up and down the street looking for gardeners using gas-powered leaf blowers and giving them tickets. And there was a lot of, I got a lot of complaints, inquiries. A lot of people were just really questioning why we're spending city resources on this, and then turning around and complaining about stop sign and parking and or not parking, speeding. So we talk about e-bikes, enforcement on e-bikes and speeds on e-bikes and education on e-bikes. We only have so many personnel in this city. I got to get to everything, and we can't enforce every single law at 100% level. So we have to be careful of what we pass. Strategic plan update. We had a strategic plan in 2 days in August, the end of August, and we had it come back at the beginning of October, and it was a strategic plan, just so you guys know, is us on the council sitting down with staff and saying, these are the projects we need to get done here in the next 6 months. This is where we want to go for the next 3 years. Here are the big things we want to get done. And here are the small projects or big projects that we want to do to get there, to get to that end result. And, it's a really big difference here in Redondo Beach from a year ago. We weren't doing strategic plans. Last one we did was 2 years ago, pre-COVID. And staff is happy because they know what they're supposed to be working on. When they come to council now, their staff presentations and their end result, their products are more geared to what the council wants. And the council is a resident majority council. And we are focused on the residents, and we are focused on the quality of life issues. So that's why you see the police department having a quality of life unit that deals just with quality of life issues. So that's a big deal. We have a Harbor Storefront Improvement Program happening. So I'm not a big fan anymore of doing storefront improvement programs anywhere in the city on private property. We did it on Artesia Boulevard. We did it for about 2 years, spent about $200,000. We spent a ton of money up there. We're really invigorating the Artesia Boulevard. I'm a big fan of Artesia Boulevard, but at some point in time, the landowners there need to improve their own property and provide their own responsibility and provide their own funding and really start making things happen on their own. If we as government keep doing that for them, then we're never going to get anywhere as a whole, as a community. And yes, I'm going to, let me pause this background. We need to upgrade the public infrastructure. So streets, lamps, harbor, the hardware such as the trash cans and the lighting, benches, all those things need to be upgraded on their own. And that costs money. So we need to spend time and money on that. And we can't do everything, like I said. We can have leaf blowers. I know we all have, things that we want to get done and enforce, and whether it's stop signs or whether it's e-bikes. But at the end of the day, we only have so many personnel. So I'm a big fan of creating a business improvement district on Artesia Boulevard. I've been working with a lot of people to get that done. There's a lot of different types of improvement programs that we can anyway, so basically that's going to be coming back to us. One of the things that we've changed here regarding business improvement districts is something called a travel and tourism board. So let me pull up the agenda here. I think their agenda has their programming in it. Let's see, city council agendas. So back when I the travel and tourism part of the Chamber of Commerce, and let me get to the item. And we were giving 10% of our TOT tax to them, just giving it to them. So whether it was $500,000 a year, 800 grand a year, they would be getting 50,000 or 80,000, whatever that number is, that 10% number, just giving them to them. There were no metrics. there was nothing that was required by the contract. We would just be giving them the money in addition to some other contracts. We shut that down for many various reasons. There was a political aspect to that. They had a political action committee that came from them as well, that was help funded by that as well. It was a bad situation, and from shutting it down, we grew a new program called a travel tourism district, and that's when all the hotels came together, have a 1% tax on the hotel bed tax. So we have a 12% bed tax for Redondo. In addition, and then there's a 1% tax on top of that, so it brings it to 13%, and that 1% goes to this district, and they spend the money on. Let me show it to you guys on this. Oops, view. Share screen. Uh-oh. Zoom's doing a little weird stuff right now. They spend. Hold on. My Zoom is freaking out here. Sorry. All right. So if I can get to it, I'll show it to you guys. I'll show it to you guys later if I don't have the chance now. But anyways, they have a great presentation. They talk about how they spent $818,000 they took in. They are capped at a maximum of $144,000 in administrative operations. They have a contingency reserve of $50,000, and sales and marketing. They go over as much as they spend every year. They could give us a budget.
I'm sure he'll be back on in a second. So,
I assume he knows he's dropped off.
yeah, I see him back in on the bottom now.
Okay, there he is.
Sorry about that. My Zoom crashed on me. What was the last time you saw? What was I saying the last second I was saying?
That you're an awesome council member?
Sorry, what was it? Did I have my? Oh boy. There you go. All right. I don't know what part I left off at. So here is the Travel and Tourism Board. So real quick, sorry about that. All right, so there it is. There you go. Now I see it on my Facebook. Perfect. Travel and Tourism Board, here's their report. They come to us every single year. They have $818,000 they spent this year. They have administrative operations that are capped at $145,000. They have a reserve of $50,000. And so that is their annual budget. They tell us exactly what market they play in here, how we relate to the rest of the market. And let's see here. Here's the number I'm looking for. As a great photo. By the way, this photo here that you guys see, all of these photos, all of the logos, all of the ads you guys own. The city of Redondo Beach actually owns. I made sure that we got that into the contract, that all of the digital products, any product that assets that they produce, we own. So that's an absolutely gorgeous photo that we could use. I'm sure we're going to use that later on. So here is the number. So they spent $66,000, $22,000 three times, so a total of $66,000. And that returned us back $776,000 per time, $2.3 million in total. So we spent $66,000, we got back $2.3 million. That's a quantifiable number here, and we know that because we had, you see on the left hand side there, those are landing pages that we are specifically marketing to targets outside of the LA area. And when they click on these bookings, we get the revenue. We understand what the revenue function here is. So we target in Arizona for the NFL games, for the Rams, as well as Beach Life Festival and a couple other things that they do. So we didn't have this before from a couple of years ago. This is a big deal for us. Here's the Beach Life, the Redondo Beach Tourism. I don't know if they have their, they do influencers as well. So social media influencers. So I'm sure you guys have heard of influencers. They go on Instagram and TikTok and social media, and they do videos, and they show off a particular area. So we pay them to do this. Here's the Beach Life stuff that they worked with. Very exciting. So it helps both them and us, and of course the Beach Life Festival when we do these kind of partnerships. So any questions on that before I move on? All right, seeing none. Okay, oops. All right, next thing on the agenda is city rebranding. So we had a large discussion this last week on branding. So the famous logo that we all know with the tricolor logo. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. So share screen. So this is our logo that we have here. Actually, I should say it's this part right here on the left hand side, the tricolor logo, the sun, the pier, the sailboat, and the ocean. We did that in 2001. We did not trademark it. It is not a trademarked logo. And so it's actually in the open realm. It's been used for so many years, and other people have used it. We do not actually own that. Nobody owns it, actually. No one can claim a trademark to it. But on the right-hand side, you see More to See, Redondo Beach. That was done in 2010. That with the Chamber of Commerce, Redondo Beach Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Redondo Beach Roundtable. And that was service marked in 2014 by the Chamber of Commerce. That service mark ran out in 2021, a year ago. And one of the reasons why it ran out, why it wasn't renewed, was because the chamber lost their contract with the city of Redondo Beach back in 2017. What I was alluding to earlier regarding the Travel and Tourism board here just a second ago. So this is our official logo that we have. Anyone can use them. Like I said, they're not trademarked or service marked anymore. Our official seal is on the bottom right down here. That's an official seal of Redondo Beach, official seal and official logo, I should say. That actually cannot be used by anyone. You can't use that. You can't duplicate it. You can't use it on an embroidery system. That is actually trademarked to the seal of Redondo Beach. You cannot use that any which way. Why am I going over all this? Well, because this is our branding for the city, and we are going to update this. So there's a real movement here in Redondo. We've really changed in Redondo the last 20 years. You know, a city needs to change itself as a character and personality changes and moves forward. Well, we're getting a new website coming up here in the next 6 to 8 months. We're about to sign a contract next month with a new web developing company that does websites specifically for cities. And when we launch that new website, we want some new branding to go along with it, just like the Travel and Tourism Board has done. They did a great job with the branding. Councilmember Rabaji really deserves 100% of the credit for this. It wasn't even on my radar. And he came to council last spring and said, you know, this is great branding that the Travel and Tourism Board has. It's really updated. We need to borrow that and now use that consistently throughout the city of Redondo Beach. So that is the short of the long story. So we're going to be hiring a firm, going out for a bid to to replace the logo or update the logo, I should say, as well as some of the branding. And then we're gonna try to work this together with the website that we are also putting together. And we're of course getting some good copy. So if you know any photographers out there that have produced some really good images, let us know. And we're gonna launch the website with quality photography and quality images, as well as a whole rebranding to the what do you call it? The artwork, graphics design that we have. So, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the flyers and paperwork that gets sent out. Well, all that stuff needs to be updated in addition to the website. And yes, the website is horrible. Oh, I know. Trust me. Jill, thank you, Rich, for email today. I replied back to that email. I got staff on it. It was after 5 o'clock, so they're out of town already or out of working. But I want to let you guys know. I know the website's horrible, and we spent Councilmember Lowenstein and I are both on the subcommittee for the new website developers. And let me tell you, it's not an easy task to go through. Luke Smoot, who's the assistant to the city manager, did a fantastic job of getting, I want to say, 22 bids in from different vendors, 22 bids. And we went through every single one of the bids, and we've spent a lot of time going over everything, multiple rounds of conversations. And we have found one that does a really good job. And this is all they do. So we're really, really happy with them so far. We're working on a really good contract with them, and it's going to come to council, like I said, next month. And hopefully they'll produce something really, really, really cool. So any other questions or comments on that? Anyone want to say anything? I won't be offended at all if you come up and say this website's horrible. It is. Didn't like it from day one, to be honest with you. I got some ideas here. Tom Wayne and Bertolotti is an excellent photographer. Oh, wow. Okay. I'll send those along. If you guys know, what's his name in PV? John something, I want to say. He does, I forgot his name. Anyways, does it, the gallery in the Riviera Village, I am hooking up the city manager with them as well. So Jill something, forgot her name. All right, anyway, so harbor updates. Harbor public amenities plan. So harbor is a big concern to everyone. Let me pull up the item here. It went through council. So what is the harbor amenities plan? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I made a motion in September of 2019. And I know that because in August of 2019, we won a big motion on the lawsuits that Center Cal, RB Waterfront, who is still suing us today, actually. And I took advantage of that, and I made a motion to do a, where is it? You guys see that? Right.
It's coming up very slow.
Oh man. Maybe I need to stop. Something's weird with my screen share. Am I still online?
You're online. It says, this thing I'm seeing says you're started screen sharing, but I'm not actually seeing your screen.
Okay. Let me see if I can stop it. I have to restart my Zoom. This is weird. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know what's up with my Zoom today. It's just not working right. I'm not going to do a screen share on this because I don't want to go through this again. But the harbor amenities plan came to council. It's a great product. Like I was saying earlier, in 2019, I made the motion. It finally came to us in January of 2020 to start the RFP process. The RFP went out and we assigned a vendor in July 2021. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was the timeline. I want to say we finally had a bid out in 2020, in July 2021, yes. And it was supposed to get going in the fall, and which it did, and it was supposed to be done by late June or late spring, early June, July at the latest, after it got delayed a little bit. And one of the reasons why it got delayed was because there was so much public input. Yeah, you heard me right. There was so much public input. They had such a great response from the public. They actually got delayed with the output of it. So came back to us now, finally. It is done. It went to the Harbor Commission. We have voted on it, and we passed it with saying that the boat launch ramp needs to be done first, then the Seaside Lagoon. We're actually working coordination with each other. One of the reasons why we did that was because the Seaside boat launch ramp needs to be placed and built in the harbor first and foremost, as the Coastal Commission has said, and then the Seaside Lagoon gets the redone. And we're running into some permitting issues and some timeline issues with Seaside Lagoon. We got $10 million from the state of California to upgrade and update the Seaside Lagoon. And the Harbor Amenities Plan has roughly $107 million worth of public amenities upgrades. And nearly all of that is actually in state lands, which means it's actually portions of the harbor that the state actually owns, and we just maintain for the state. So the only portion that's not is Basin 3, where Najas is at, that little basin that it's in there. And that's roughly $17 million worth of upgrades, but we can apply for grants from the federal government for sea level rise, amongst a whole host of other things that grants that we can apply for. So while the $106 million is a large number, we could easily apply for grants to pay for majority, if not all of that. For instance, the boat launch ramp, the state of California Department of Boating and Waterways will pay for 100% of the boat ramp, and that could be a $6 to $8 million cost, if not more, and depending how much access we have. And of course, like I said, we already got $10 million for the Seaside Lagoon, and we got $2.5 million for Moonstone Park. They want $3.3 million to do that park, and so there's no reason why we can ask for a grant for that location as well. So we're well on our way to start some of these projects, and we're well on our way to get these projects going. Part of the plan for the Harbor Amenities Plan was pretty adamant about not having a boat hoist in a harbor. We are only the only ones on the California coastline that have that. And it's because we don't have a boat launch ramp. It doesn't get used very much. You can only imagine if it doesn't get used very much now, just imagine how much it's going to get used when we have a boat launch ramp. And I feel for people that say I need help launching my boat. But here's the thing: when the boat hoist can only be used for smaller boats. Can't be used for sailboats. Can't be used for heavy boats. Can't be used for large boats. So there's no reason, and I think we should do this. We should have a service that allows, hey, you bring your boat down, you pay us $20-30, we'll launch your boat for you, and we're covered as well, just like we do with the boat launch or boat hoist. And what's important is we can launch sailboats then, and we can launch other types of boats. Andy, do you have a comment? Your hand is up.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, go for it.
Yes, I watched the meeting last night. I was very impressed, and I just wanted to focus attention on the plan for Moonstone Park. Kudos to you, kudos to Todd, and kudos to Zaino Baji for figuring out that all these amenities for Moonstone Park are much better uses than a pallet shelter.
Yes, it's true.
Much appreciated by those of us who remember the battle.
Yeah, Yeah,
So,
I mean,
great
and if
outcome.
everyone remembers, certain council member wanted to put pallet shelters out at Moonstone Park or in Seaside Lagoon. I mean, to me, that's just rude. I mean, you want to have people sleeping in these little plastic things that are barely heated in the middle of wintertime when there's 20 knot winds and it's cold and it's rainy. Not cool. It's not very nice.
I think that was more to stick it to District 1 than to actually serve the purposes of the homeless, the unhoused, or District 1 residents or the city as a whole. I think it
Yeah.
was purely vindictive. and
Yeah,
Didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And then the one thing I'll say as well is I didn't say this earlier, but on this with the plan, the plan grew in scope as well. It was only supposed to hit a couple of items in the harbor, but it kind of grew a little bit for a couple of different reasons. One is the waterfront education. We want a waterfront program for education, or excuse me, an education program or an educational facility that deals with the ocean of any type. And the reason why we want that is it allows us to do additional programming, which brings in funds, federal funds, state funds, and county funds, as well as university and large philanthropic groups to come in and help us build a facility, run the facility, and it helps bring education and access and people that don't normally come to the harbor and year-round activities down in the harbor in the middle of wintertime, in the springtime, other times of the year other than just when it's really, really warm or really, really nice. So we have to keep control, though, that while that's good, we have to keep control over the focus. We can't keep letting that breath expand. That's one of the reasons why it kind of took a longer time to come up with this answer. Lee Collar, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank, first of all, I promise not to talk about the subject that dominated the
That's fine. You
council meeting on
can.
Tuesday.
I'll let you know after you're done. Let you know one more reason why I was adamant about it. But continue on.
Yeah, so but I just wanted to thank the council and especially you, because I know you were a leader on this and actually putting this forward, because what's going on now in the harbor now is a great thing. I'm very happy to see a lot more dinghy docks going in, which has been a real shortage for people, even residents of the harbor that want to go from one place to another.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for that. I look forward to it being all done. All takes a lot more time than what I think it should, but I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. I really appreciate that. I couldn't echo those sentiments anymore with the dinghy docks. We gotta have dinghy docks everywhere. And so everyone knows what dinghy dock is. It's if you have a boat in the harbor and you're moored or you're tied up or you're somewhere, you have your 25, 30, 40-foot boat, 20-foot boat, 15-foot boat, but then you actually need to get to shore, right? So if you're moored up in the harbor or in a slip somewhere, you get on usually like a 5 or 6 foot inflatable type of boat, and you go, that's how you get to the dock and then get on land and go to and from the boat. We don't really have that facility here in Redondo, which makes it very difficult for a boater to come in from Marina del Rey, Newport, Long Beach, San Pedro, Ventura, Catalina, or stop off in our harbor for an overnight or 2 days. And it's something called dock and dine, where Newport Beach, I've done this in Newport and I've done this in Long Beach, both with my boat and with other people's boats, where you go driving around the harbor, you end up at a restaurant, you go dine and you get back on your boat and you go putter off to back where you came from or somewhere else. It makes the harbor accessible. And that's why I want to have, for instance, the sports fishing pier. We did vote on Tuesday night to demo the entire sports fishing pier. It's literally falling apart. We should have done it years ago. It's a sad state of affairs there. And it will be back. There was a significant interest to have that sports fishing pier back for many variety of reasons. For instance, one of the reasons why I want to see it back is because we can have charter boats go to Catalina. And I've always said that we need to be the recreational gateway to Catalina. So a commercial boat comes in, whether it's like a Catalina Express or a dive boat or similar fishing boat, comes into the sports fishing pier, or the short dock or short pier, they want to call it now, and load up with passengers and then go out to Catalina or PV and go diving. Catalina go camping, Catalina go scuba diving, just go Catalina for 2-3 days and come back, and using the express to come back. Tall ships, the Dana Point has a lot of tall ships come in. They use a dock similar to ours, what we have or had, and they have tall ship festival come in. So it's a really great way to get accessibility. And Lee, just so you know, I will talk about it, the dry boat dock storage. It goes back to my conversation. There was a lot of, so everyone knows, there's a real movement afoot to get some what's called dry boat dock storage, which basically you can dock your boat on land, whether it's a sailboat or powerboat. Marina Del Rey has it, other areas have it, but we are limited, extremely limited in space, and we're also limited, and more importantly, in time right now and resources. We could ask for it, but again, when's this dry boat dock storage going to come into place? It's kind of down the line of importance. We have more important things to deal with right now, and one of the things I said at the council is we have to focus in on what we can get done right now. Hit a small single here and there, and then get the boat launch ramp built, get the Seaside Lagoon running, get the Moonstone Park going, and then we can start focusing in on some of the other issues. Waterfront Education Center, hey, that's a big nut to get through. So Lee, that's I'm not saying no to it. It could
No,
definitely happen.
I got that. Yeah. And I would actually agree with you on those priorities. So I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's just where I want to come. I want to make sure to spend a minute because I hear what you guys are saying on that. Wayne Craig, your hand is up.
Oh yeah, once again, I wanted to, as I said, the council, I'm really happy that we're finally moving this forward. Restore Waterfront, which you helped found back in the day. This has been a goal that we've had for at least more than the 5 years that Rose been around, actually 7 years. And it's great we're finally making some progress on it. And I just hope that we can start implementing this stuff more quickly as it goes through. But I think the plan that the council has of doing in phases makes a lot of sense because we can start showing some results and getting things happening. And obviously that can expand more quickly after we get this lawsuit up, the Center Cal lawsuit done and down the road, so we can start doing major things. Also, just want to let you know your meeting must be very popular today. Mr. Elliott is actually watching it and posting your stuff live as we speak. So hi, Elliot. How you doing? Maybe you may want to ask a question and figure out what the people of Redondo Beach really want in our city. Anyway, thanks again for your hard work, Nils, and I look forward to the council continuing to do great things. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm very impressed with this community. That's all I'm gonna really say with Measure E and the recall. There was really no campaign for Measure E. People saw right through it. So. Anyone else on the harbor? What we're doing in the harbor? Any other questions or comments or hopes or plans or dreams? Anyone? Anything? Comments? Let me see. You're in whatchamacallit. Facebook. There's no real comments. Okay, on there's no real comments. Okay, so like I said a minute ago, the short fishing pier or sports fishing pier, which shall be renamed to something else. It is coming down, and I want to let you know that it is falling apart, and we are, instead of taking a piece of it down or a large portion of it down, we just voted on Tuesday night just get rid of the whole thing. Like I wish I had my, I don't trust my Zoom sharing right now. If I did, I'd show you the photos. A lot of the pilings are literally falling apart and rusted and corroded out, so there's nothing left of them. In fact, in the last year, 7 of the pilings have completely evaporated. When I say evaporated, I mean completely evaporated. So yeah, we're getting rid of that, and we're making sure that the pier will be back. There will be pier, and those of you that know what's his name that came down, Eric Coleman, that came down, he talked about pier. He had a big skit about the pier. It was a really funny item. So I'm going to skip over the Access Redondo up. We'll get back to that. We'll go to the Charter Commission update. So Charter Commission update. A few weeks ago, the Charter Commission voted to 6-1 to recommend to the council to have a vote of having an elected city attorney position. So those of you that are following the Charter Commission, they're discussing a lot of things on the Charter Commission. They're talking about updates to the, hey, before I go on further, I'm getting a lot of comments regarding excellent photographers. If you guys throw that into the chat for me, please, whether it's Facebook or the chat, or even email me, let me know, and I'll hook up the city manager and his assistant to those people. So thank you for sending those names in. So the Charter Commission is looking at the whole charter and basically saying, do we need to update the charter? Are there things we need to update? Are there pieces of it that we need to leave alone? We do this every, I don't know, 20 years or so. Last time we did this, it was in mid 90s or so, late 1999, I think was the last time we did Charter Commission or Charter Update vote. And the Charter Commission last time did a bunch of recommendations. Right now, we're updating a phenomenal amount of, or I should say the Charter Commission is updating the administrative side. So the contracts, right now we're limited at $15,000 as to what the city staff can bring to us or not bring to us in contracts. And we have to discuss. There's a lot of things that the state of California has done, for instance, taking a lot of powers away from the city treasurer and put them into the city finance. We had an audit done by, forgetting the name right now. There's a Moss Adams report. They came back and said, you know what, your charter is completely out of date when it comes to the finance, your elected city treasurer's position, I should say. And that needs to be moved out of that position, those recommendations, and they should be moving over to the finance department or moving to a different department. A lot of things in that nature need to be updated. So I want to let you know that, or actually ask you, I had this question during my community meeting in person. I said, so to be a city council member, you have to fulfill two requirements. You have to be 18 years old and registered to vote and live in the city for 30 days. Well, registered to vote comes with being 18 and living in the city for 30 days. That's the minimum requirements. It's also the minimum requirements for the mayor and for the city clerk. You have to have 5 years of government accounting, registered to vote, live in the city for 30 days, and have a degree in government accounting or 5 years of government accounting service. City attorney's position, you have to be a a member of the bar for at least 5 years, actively working as a lawyer for the last 5 years and continuously, and registered to vote, living in the city for 30 days. Who here knows what the requirements are for city treasurer's office? Anyone know? Anyone know? You have over $100 million worth of assets that you're managing, long-term assets. You're doing a bunch of stuff. Well, the city treasurer office, to be elected city treasurer, your only requirement is that you are registered to vote and live in the city for 30 days. And the city treasurer's office, by the way, went from a department of 19 people when it was full-time to now a part-time position paying $25,000 a year with one full-time employee. And again, there's only two requirements: registered to vote and living in the city for 30 days. So any one of you could run for city treasurer's office. So yeah, so you know the position has devolved itself in Redondo and in other cities from state requirements and other requirements. So they're taking a look at that, although that's not important. What they are looking at right now is city attorney's office. You know, I didn't know this until this Charter Commission actually started meeting, but we had a part-time city attorney until 1985 when the community voted to go full-time in that position. And only since 1985 has that position been a full-time position. We've only had 3 city attorneys, 3 or maybe 4 city attorneys since then. So anyways, It's the Charter Commission is meeting on the 27th of October, which is a week from today. They're gonna be sending their report to the city council. And it's a very robust discussion that they had on many various subjects. They're gonna give us a recommendations that we gotta have to act in the council as to what we want to do and choices we have. So stay tuned for that, because it's gonna be a potential. We're gonna have at least one charter questioning, one charter question on the ballot in the March, and that's going to be the business updates in terms of some business rules and changing the charter on how we do signings for contracts and send out checks. So I think that's going to be quite important. All right. Any questions on the Charter Commission from anyone?
Hi, Niels. I had a quick question.
Yeah.
There was a potential agenda item. I guess I could look at the meeting notes, but wondering if you knew if they were going to change the school board elections to by district.
Oh, so that's not on that's the Charter Commission. Charter Commission is talking about potentially changing the school board from district wide to districts, not districts, excuse me, citywide to districts. So right now we have 5 districts, 5 city council members in Redondo Beach, and we have our citywide mayor. Mayor cannot vote, but he can break ties, or excuse me, mayor cannot make motions, but he can break ties, and he can veto, but otherwise he can't vote. School board, there are 5 school board members and they run citywide, which means you can have all 5 school board members sitting in one council district or on a block, like in sometimes it's actually happened where they're all in one district, or they can be spread out throughout the city. The school board does not have an elected attorney. They only have, or school district, I should say, excuse me, the school district that only has 5 school board members. They have no other voted members or elected officials in that district. So remember, a district is just like a city. You have a water district, sanitation district, school board district, and they set their own bylaws and they have elections that are citywide. I have heard, Jerome, of them talking about the idea of doing districts in the school board, but I don't know what the status is of that. I don't follow the Charter Commission that closely, and I don't know if that would necessarily come up in November for us. They have one more meeting and then a couple more meetings in November if we extend them. So that's all I've heard, Jerome. So if you want to have any questions, let me know, or unmute yourself, go from there.
Thank you.
Okay. Wayne Craig, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was going to follow up on that because I'm on the Charter Committee Commission, or committee itself. It's something that's been kind of talked about because some cities have actually been sued over that in Northern California and other areas. So but I don't believe it's been agendized yet as a formal discussion item.
Okay, there you go. And Wayne is an alternate on there. And so is Jerry. If you have anything to say, Jerry, or questions or comments on any of that, let me know.
Yeah, nothing now, thanks.
Okay. You're also actually now that you're there, do you want to talk at all about, you guys had a meeting last week for the budget finance on the bonds, I believe, last week?
We did, yeah. The question is, do we move forward or do we move forward with a bond issue for public infrastructure? There are lots of questions on that. We did not decide to move forward, but we decided to continue the discussion. And issues are around the area of what is highest priority, how much can we borrow if we go forward with this. There's a laundry list of projects that we looked at, some 6 projects that total $215 million. No one expects that list to be completed in total, but what we're doing now is trying to get some idea of the priority of the projects, and then move forward with a bond issue. the whole issue, the bond issuance has gotten more complicated. We did a bond issue a little over a year ago to refinance the CalPERS debt, and we were able to borrow at a little under 3%. That rate is now probably closer to 4%. So it's become more expensive. So it's a work in progress, Mills.
Okay, there you go. So there's the answer. I know you guys, it was on your agenda, and I briefly heard regarding a little bit of the subject, but that was, I think, a good recap. Thank you. And just so everyone knows, you know, our infrastructure here in Redondo has been, so that when I say infrastructure, I mean buildings, City Hall, Fire Station number 1, Fire Station 2, police, so the annex that we have, some of the other buildings that we have here in Redondo was the public works area, the shooting range. The maintenance has not been done on them. They were built in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and you know, very little work has been done to them ever since then. And there's a tremendous amount of work that needs to happen moving forward. City of Manhattan Beach just rebuilt Fire Station number 2 for a cost of about $9 million, and that comes out of their general fund. They would not get grants for that. And it houses 1 engine, fire engine. Our Fire Station number 2 hires 1 fire engine and 2 paramedics, I believe, or 2 engines and 1 paramedic. They've got about 2 or 3 vehicles there, and that's falling apart. Our Fire Station number 1 is falling apart. It like I said, hasn't had any updates done to it. And if it costs Manhattan Beach $9 million, and they're going through it now, one could only imagine how much it's going to cost us to replace and fix our 2 fire stations that we've got.
Yeah, Nils, one additional comment on along those lines. There were 2 projects that clearly have some degree of higher priority. One was the parking garage in the harbor. There's a substantial amount of money that needs to be spent on that, and that's a high priority, because if we don't spend that money, that parking garage becomes questionable. And the other is fire station. So those 2 were ones that directly impacted
Hey, Matty,
either public safety or parking, which becomes unuseful if we don't do something with it.
Meeting.
Okay. 1 second. I need to do something here.
Awesome.
Andy, let me mute you. There you go. Sorry. You know, I had a conversation. I think you guys said, I think Zane said, Councilmember Baji talked about last council meeting about borrowing some money to speed up out of the tidelands or out of the uplands or out of the harbor enterprise funds to pay for all of the work right now. Is that basically, and then we repay that going back, or we have a bond and then we get money coming back to pay for that, those upgrades? Is that?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that prospect. No.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I thought that was maybe a different conversation. But yeah, the pier parking garage needs some work. It hasn't had any work done to it for many years, and we're really getting to it now. And you're right, it's a revenue producing facility. It produces pure cash for us, cash flow positive, around $2+ million a year. And we need to be spending, you know, that money on fixing it. We haven't been doing that for a long time, for years, 20, 30 years. And the fact that it's in such good condition is pretty amazing. One other thing is the parking garage with the pier plaza on top, the buildings on top, and we lease those buildings out. We get about $2 a square foot, $2.50 a square foot, depending on which building you're in. I think our highest one we just got was $2.65 a square foot, and produces a lot of revenue for the city. That pier parking garage, the pier plaza, the buildings on top. There's an opportunity there to redo those buildings, either put a hotel there or build some office space, some other space there, meeting space that we could really utilize. So that is an opportunity for us moving forward. So any other questions on that, comments? I'll look at my notes here. If not, I am going to get to, let's see, Access Redondo. So I want to go over this with you guys real quick because well, actually I have a bunch of other updates. You know, before we get to Access Redondo, let me get to these photos here. Oh, I just said I wasn't going to do the screen share. Let me see if I can do the screen share. If I can't, boy, screen share. Let me share my screen. Let's see here. Share. There you go. Okay. I think it might be. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. This is Legato site. Legato is moving along. It is, they've got the first level of parking, concrete poured. They've got the second level of concrete poured. And this is now the third level of parking, and the wood that you see going up there, that is the first level of apartments. And this is what it looks like. They're about to pour. That's the forms to pour the concrete for the base level, or for the second level of parking. It's moving along, folks. I mean, it is moving along. You can see here, this was taken about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. So this concrete's probably poured right now. That's the overall site. You can see Torrance is back here in the background. That's a little street next to PV Boulevard. Let's see here. This is going to be the outside of the parking garage right here. Is the corner going up to this area here. You can see the hotel in the background. This is all right now framed in. Actually, this whole first level is all framed in. And if you look here, you can zoom in, you'll see that they're actually working in the hotel as well, that they are working away in that hotel. That hotel should be done in about the same time that this project should be done, in about a year and a half, 2 years. So they're not messing around there anymore. They are moving along. All right, and oh, this is kind of cool. Have you guys seen the house on Avenue E, 200 block Avenue E? They've got a great October setup. If you are ever in the lower avenues, the 200 block of the Avenue East, 200 block and Avenue E and PCH, they have a phenomenal setup of stuff in their yard. It makes music, it makes noises. It is really, really, really impressive. So if you see there's a pirate ship on top, there's a lot of details here, a lot of things that are happening. So pretty cool. They spent a lot of time. They do this every year, but this is the biggest year I've seen them do it, what they're doing here. So there's a pirate ship there on top. All right, here's our sidewalk. I'm showing you some sidewalk action here because, as you can tell, there is some fresh plastic paint there, and we have spent on the council about $150,000 to $200,000 on repainting all of our intersections with a bright paint that's the plastic with the reflective beads inside. And we're doing that because traffic and pedestrian and bicycle safety is priority on this council right now. We were using some old other paints, and you can see here by the paint that is coming, the shadows, excuse me, coming off this paint right here, that it actually raises off the ground. So this is happening throughout the entire city. It's highly reflective paint. It makes a big deal. We're spending some good money on the intersections. Your tax dollars quite hard at work. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. You'll be seeing that happening everywhere around Redondo. This is at Alta Vista right here. At Alta Vista, there was this used to be all concrete, broken up concrete in this area, and we've replaced it all. The Public Works did this. They got rid of the old concrete, planted a couple trees, did some nice mulch here, planted some new plants here. So It sounds like a small improvement, but this has been on the list that at Alta Vista for many years, and we finally got into it, made it look real nice. Public Works is doing a great job right now in Alta Vista. One of the things that they're dealing with is the South Bay community, or the Redondo Beach Community Garden Group, or they're an offshoot of the South Bay Parklands, and stop share. They're working hard on the community garden. They've got the fence built up there. They've got some projects happening tomorrow. Last week, 2 weeks ago. So the fence is almost complete. They're doing some great job painting the fence and doing a quality job on the fence. It's not like, you know, some cheap fence that they're putting up. They're doing a really good quality job there. Public Works, Mike Klein from Public Works is really taking the lead on this. They were going to hire a contractor to do it all, but contractors are all completely busy, and the cost of the contractors right now is extremely high right now. Let's just say that we wouldn't be able to pay for it with the budget. We put an extra 10 grand aside for that, and then still wouldn't be enough. So, and also, by the way, probably another 6 to 8 months before they get to it. Any other comments on those small little items? I think I saw something here. The chat box I see here. Plastic at the beach. No, there's no plastic at the beach, Jill. I don't think I remember seeing. No, it's not that type of plastic. So for the street, not that type of plastic. I use the term plastic. It's plastic paint. It's got some, it won't chip off like you think. It's got some glass. It's more so made of glass. The type of glass that's got reflective beads in there, and they melt it onto the street. And the reason why is because it holds up really well. It's highly reflective, and that way you can, yes, you see it in your comments. You can see it that way. It's highly reflective, unlike the paint that we have been using. So, all right, Access Redondo. I'll get to this here. So now that my screen share seems to work, I'm going to do one more try here with screen share. So Access Redondo, you know, a lot of you guys come to me and say, hey, Nils, there's a problem here on my street or my neighborhood. I need you to take care of it. And it could be trash, it could be a tree, it could be a pothole, many various items. And what I want to show you here is something called Access Redondo. And when there's a problem, there's an app for that. You can go to your app store and search on your app store, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, and you can download the app. Just type in Access Redondo. That's what you search, and then you'll find an app for Redondo Beach. It's branded to Redondo Beach, but there's also a website. So if you go to the front of the website here, and you go to City Clerk's office, you'll see a button that says Access Redondo. And you can do everything from public records requests to sending in a request for trash pickup, trying to find out if an event is happening, or putting in a request, say, hey, I'd like to see something happen in my particular community. Event, paint, a street being repaved, whatever it may be, whatever question you may have. I have a problem with my trash services. I didn't get my trash picked up. Here's why this is important, why you do this Access Redondo, why you use the app, is because everything that is done through this system is recorded into a database, and it gets assigned to people. And so there's actual responsibility held to that person or department that the problem gets assigned to. If you have this app on your phone, you see something, hey, there's trash here. This couch has been sitting here on the side of the road for 2-3 days. We get someone to Public Works to come by and pick it up. You're logged into the app through your email address. You can take a photo of the object in question or the problem, whether it's graffiti or anything else. And then you can submit it as part of the request. And so now the city staff, whoever gets assigned the problem, they actually get to see the issue at hand. You can also email all of the mayor and council, so you can send us all a question or comment all in one fall swoop. We end up getting it sent to us. So this is a really powerful tool. Again, pretty much everything you want to have happen can go through this. It's going to go through the system, and it's very responsive. You create an account, and you can see all your prior requests. So if you see something on here that said they were supposed to do it in 6 months or a month, they end up not doing it, you go back to the request and open the request up again and say, hey, this wasn't done, and then send this off to your council member or staff and say, hey, why wasn't this particular item done? Any questions on that? Any comments on that? Has anyone used Access Redondo? Let me ask you that. Has anyone used Access Redondo and gotten a response they liked or not liked? Anyone? Well, I'm glad we're going over this now. No one's used it here. I really want you guys to use this, because the last thing I need is for you guys to be contacting myself for some of this stuff. You know, I get a lot of requests on a weekly basis, and I end up just kind of forwarding it off to department heads and city managers. And it's really helpful to have the system in place. Check your app store. I've used it a lot. Oh, I see your comment now. GeoCloss, you've used a lot. That's good to hear. So yeah, if we have also a graffiti hotline, I'm going to come up with a list of numbers, whether it's for the homeless services. If you see someone homeless on the street, we had like some good news. Oh, actually, I want to see if I have this photo here. Do you guys know, speaking of apps getting things done, I don't think I have the photo here, but you guys all know the homeless person that is on the corner of Emerald, no, Diamond, Emerald, Gertruda, no, Edith Jones, the street that Edith Jones is on, Emerald, maybe C-D-E, Diamond and PCH, right by the library. There's a lady who sits on the bench, and she has all of her stuff there. She has umbrellas, multiple umbrellas, and she just parks out and hangs out. We offer her services on a weekly basis. She is there every single day. She doesn't move. And she said that at one point in time, I am going to file a harassment lawsuit on you guys to stop harassing me. And Carnelian at PCH, thank you. I was thinking the C name. It was C, Carnelian. Thank you. Car on the Carnelian. So anyway, so she's refused services. Well, we bought some extra pallet shelters, and we had those available. We have made one of those pallet shelters available to her, and we said to her, hey, listen, we have a bed for you, and the rule is one head, one bed. We cannot move you off away from somewhere unless we have a bed for you to go to. And we've offered her services. She's refused before, and I'm proud to say now she has taken the services from the pallet shelter, and we have moved her off of the street of Carnelian, away from City Hall, and to the pallet shelter. So it is someone that has been there for a long time, and let me tell you, that is a big win. And I just want to tell you guys that you know, things are moving along in a positive way, and it's something that I think we should all be proud of as a community. We're doing something better than other communities, better than other cities. So we can pat ourselves on the back, you guys included. You know, it takes a city of people who are involved. I know I got a request just the other day from someone who wanted someone's number to get a hold of Lila. I gave it there, and like a day or two later, I saw a post about this particular person getting the services that they need, and going to back home to Oregon, whereas they didn't know how to get back to Oregon, and we were able to get them a ticket to their family back in Oregon. So they were living on the street here in Redondo. So, you know, these things do make a difference, these programs we have in place, and that is a big win because we have Lila from in our homeless outreach services, and as well as all the tools we have available to us. So, you know, it's a big deal. So other than that, I'm going to go over our events. If you guys have any questions or comments on that, let me know. Yes, they did take the Redondo Beach bus bench out. Yes, they did. A couple other benches they took out too. All right, I'm gonna go over some events here. If you guys have any, and then we'll open up for question and answers or anything else you guys might have comments. Jerry, you had a question. Mayor Brand's health. Mayor Brand is she's a treasure. Yes, Melissa, there you go. Thank you. Mayor Brand, you know, last month he got a scan, I believe, and his new chemo was working, and right now it's working a little bit too well. He was going to do the Swim the Avenues, the 1 mile race event, lots of big about last weekend, but ended up being a little bit too tired, decided to sit out on that. He was not at our event last night. He's kind of just resting and relaxing right now. He does have some minor interactions with some stuff that he's on. So he's just working through that right now, taking a seat back. It's been really, really positive for him to not have to go to these council meetings. Anyone that knows has been to these council meetings, you know, it takes a lot out of you. You get done at night, the next day, it's a 6-hour meeting, 7-hour, 8-hour meeting. We get there, just so everyone knows, we get there at City Hall at 4:15, 4:30, and our closed session starts at 4:30, and we go straight through until, you know, the end, 10:30, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So it takes a lot out of us, and then, you know, to run those meetings takes a lot of work as well. I'm the mayor pro tem, so I'm running those meetings right now. It's a lot of energy, so it's a big positive for him to be able to step back and not have to deal with that. But let me tell you, I was in a meeting with Mayor Brand a week ago last Tuesday, and we had the State Lands Commission there at this meeting. We had the Coastal Conservancy, which is a part of the California Coastal Commission. We had Senator Ben Allen there. We had Assembly Member Al Mersucci there. And we talked about the $10 million plus $5 million that we got for the power plant site. What does that mean to you? Well, the state of California gave us $10 million and $5 million to both acquiring the land and converting it back to wetlands. And we're working with the state officials and state organizations, State Lands Commission, as well as the Coastal Conservancy, which is a state conservancy or state group. If I have let me see here, projects. I actually did a presentation to them, and if I find it here right now, I'll show it to you guys. You know, the Bay Area you leave Facebook headquarters or Google headquarters, you can go to a federal reserve, and go hunting for ducks within 5 minutes of leaving Google and or Facebook in the San Francisco Bay Area. Let me repeat that for you one more time. Bay Area has so much open space. They've got so much space that's been reserved from federal, state, and private land grants. You can leave Facebook and or Google, their headquarters, drive 5 minutes, and pull out your equipment to go hunting for ducks. That's not a joke. I literally mean that. I know this because I walk through some of those areas. There's all reserves, and there's big signs, and you can see the boats coming out with the hunters. They got their hunting dogs. They've got fishing areas. They've got hunting blinds. It's fascinating to see. And if I have the document, I don't know where I put it. But it is a fascinating look at how much land that they in the Bay Area have saved for open space, for reserves, for a whole host of, oh, here it is, perfect. Don Edwards mapping. Let me open this up. Here we go. So hopefully my thing does not. There you go. So I'll just start off with this here so you guys can see that. Let me make sure. Yep, here you go. Perfect. So this is the open space map of San Francisco Bay. Everything that's green here is unencumbered space for open space, which has been it's free of title, meaning it is owned by the state of California, the federal government, or a private trust that holds the space as open reserve, and it will not ever be turned into housing, commercial, or any type of development. So this is for reference, so you guys see here what 55 miles look like. So from the far southern end here, that is the Orange County, LA County border. And all the way up here is roughly Santa Clarita. So if we go diagonal across, that's 55 miles. The reason why I'm showing that to you is because this is also roughly 55 miles in the Bay Area. So from the tip of San Jose all the way up to where it's called San Pablo Reserve, that's roughly 55 miles. That's San Francisco Bay. Okay. Now, let me show you the open space and reserves in LA County. So the marine areas right here in Aqua, that doesn't really count as marine reserves, but you got Malibu and PV. You have a couple places here. Let me zoom in for you. You got a couple places here in PV, which are all land reserves, right? Free of title. You've got one here, Madrona Marsh. You've got up here, Marina del Rey. Right? You've got the land just underneath the airport here. And of course, in the valley, the mountains up here is all mountainous area up here. Can't really build up there anyways. Griffith Park right up here, but you have nothing really LA County proper, nothing here in the South Bay really, right? So let's compare that with we go back to something. I can't show, it's on PDF. So this is, I'm going to go a little bit out of order for you, but this is the San Pablo Refuge and Hunting area. So this is in the northern part of the San Francisco Bay. It's a reclaimed commercial area. So this commercial area was producing commercial products, salt, and they had commercial industry there. They converted that land to open space and refuge area, and it's marshland and it's hunting land, and you can go there and fish, you can go there and just hang out, you can go camping there. This is the northern part of the bay. If you notice all these other green areas here, that's all open space preserves as well. And wait, I'm gonna have to change something here, one sec. So let me stop the screen share and start over again. I gotta change the photo here. So this here is the southern part of the bay, roughly 15,000 acres of land. Let me say this to you one more time. 15,000 acres of land was bought from Cargill. This was a project spearheaded by multiple agencies, federal agency, state agencies, as well as these Wildlife Trust Foundation, I want to say. It's a 501c3, and their specialty is to buy open space and return it to, buy commercial space or commercial property in sensitive areas such as the AES power plant, and converting that to open space and preserving it for natural open space parks of the like. So right here, hunting locations not look clean from boat, right? See that? And this is the Don Edwards San Francisco National Wildlife Refuge. All this whole area, 15,000 acres. That, you guys see me? Okay. This is the Google and Facebook buildings that are directly next to these old salt ponds and the old, the sloughs and sloughs that they had up there, the baylands. This is all part of the southern part of the bay. Let me see here. This is what the Fish and Wildlife Service map looks like. This was a massive land deal, $300 million, I want to say, roughly, that they bought the land with from federal funds, state funds, as well as private funds as well. They worked with Cargill. Cargill owned most of this, actually. And there's still a salt producing area. And up here in the northern part where the bay, the bridge is here at 84, they actually, a lot of your salt comes from this area here. So that's, let me stop my screen sharing if I showed anything out. Let me show you one other map that shows. Here we go. Let me share this. So here is all of the open space. Anything that's blue, light blue, dark green, or light green is preserved open space. And the dark blue is essentially open space right now that there is a plan to acquire this land, meaning they have active programming to buy this land, all this thing that's in blue and light blue. All this area that's in green is land that's free title. That means it's already in the land trust, or the state owns it, or the federal government owns it. So looking over here, look at this across Marin County. This whole area here is all in dark green, which means all open space. San Francisco has right up in here, it has the San Francisco Park, has South San Francisco has this large area here. If you're familiar with the peninsula here, this is San Andreas fault line. This is all a giant open preserve. And you can tell by the amount of open space that's here that they have a plan. They're working towards this plan. In fact, when I showed this plan and showed this map, the person that's in charge of the state coastal lands commission looked at it and says, I remember this because I spearheaded this project and this planning over 10 years ago. So basically what I'm saying this for you is the power plant, the park at the power plant, and converting the power plant to a park is a plan that they've done in the San Francisco Bay Area. There's a lot of groups that have done this in statewide many times. There's a whole plan in the Bay Area right here. So there's no reason why we can't be doing this with federal and state funds. It's something that's possible because it's been done. So yeah, wanted to show that to you. I'll stop the screen share. And of course, you got a $10 million check from Al Murasucci last week, the proverbial check, the big fake check. So if you guys saw that, it was really, really cool of him to do that. So anything else? Any other questions from anyone? I see a question. Jill Clausen here. Let me get to you. Where am I? Lila returned my text for gentleman you spoke to 5 minutes ago. Yes, she had on train 3 hours later. She's a treasure. Yep, Melissa, she is an absolute treasure. Speaking of events, oh, you're having a house party for Our Neighborhood Voices. Very good, Jill. Thank you very much. You know, Jill, I just talked to a group in Manhattan Beach that has sprung up to fight their housing project that passed or actually got denied at the council level 3-2. They fully expect to lose the lawsuits, but anyways, the group that came up, chill something, and I called them today. I talked to them, and I turned them on to Our Neighborhood Voices, and they were very receptive. So hopefully they'll jump on board with supporting Our Neighborhood Voices. BCHD, yeah, an urban food force. That'd be kind of nice. I'm not sure what's going on with BCHD. I know they have elections coming up. That's one thing I didn't go over. We do have elections coming up. We'll get to that in a minute, though. And other than that, anyone else have any questions? Hold on, let's have a question on something else. Let's see. I saw, let me get comments. Oh, updates on Pacific Motel Project Home Key. So the permanent supportive housing that is at on PCH. They pulled permits to do demo and do some work to revamp some of the rooms. The 20 rooms are converting it from a hotel or motel, I should say, to 20 rooms of permanent supportive housing for chronically homeless people. It is not for home. It is not a homeless shelter. It is not for people off the streets. That's what the pallet shelter is designed and built for them. These are people who have an income of sort, whether it's Section 8, whether it's pension, whether it's some sort of funding from somewhere, and how a third of their income goes towards housing at this site, and the government pays the rest of it. City of Redondo Beach is not involved in this program at all, but we are working. We do have a housing voucher program in Redondo Beach called the Section Housing Program. One of the few South Bay cities that has this particular program, and because of that, we can we're training our housing staff that work on the housing voucher program to get this particular location to house people in Redondo Beach that have been chronically homeless. So that they take people from Redondo Beach first. So it's a big deal. I haven't heard anything from the Century Housing lately. I have a couple to-do items on my list I need to get to, but yeah, Andy Lesser, your hand is up.
Yes, Neil, I had a question. This is probably anecdotal, and it's probably not correct, but I know they're doing a lot of remodeling at that Nob Hill site, and someone had suggested that they thought they were going up a second story, increasing in height. No, I didn't think that was in the works, but I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Yeah. So I'll do some further clarification on that. Under Project Room Key, they cannot add units, or Home Key. They cannot add units, and they cannot do major additions to convert it. And one of the reasons why that requirement is in there is because that dramatically increases the cost for the housing. One of the reasons why the state has gone with this program was because they want to minimize the cost per unit. So yes, $400,000 or $500,000 a unit is expensive, whatever the number is, whatever that price is. But to build a net new unit of permanent supportive housing costs over $800,000 to build. So they want to keep their costs down.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. Yes, Melissa, visit the Alcove, a new youth mental health center at BCHD complex. They just had a ribbon cutting ceremony at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. I would have loved to have gone for that, but I had my council meeting at 4:30 starting, and I had a bunch of stuff that I needed to do beforehand, so I wasn't able to get there for that ribbon cutting ceremony. Yeah, I heard that's a big deal. I wonder how it went. Councilmember MD was there actually. She dropped by for a minute. The last thing I'm going to end up with are some events. I'll go over some events real quick, and then if you guys have anything you want to add, let me know. There's a lot of stuff happening these next few days. Tomorrow night, Friday night, Redondo Beach Police Department is having a movie showing of the movie Coco at the Redondo Union High School at the main auditorium. So it's a Halloween event that they're doing. They're going to show the movie Coco. It is an awesome movie. If you've never seen it before, definitely go there and watch it. It's all about Dia de los Muertos. And if you know anything about Dia de los Muertos, it's in a way like Halloween. It is about the people who have passed away in this last year. It is a fascinating cultural history from Central America, Mexico, and Guatemala. Well, and more like southern Mexico, Oaxaca. If you know that whole region, that's when it started at. What I find fascinating with Dia de los Muertos is it is very much like Halloween, which started off as the people who have passed away, ghosts, so to speak. And that Halloween developed in Ireland and through the Catholicism, which is something completely different than how Dia de los Muertos. It's all about fall and recognizing in the past history, what's happened in the last year, people have passed away, and honoring those who have passed away. I've been to Oaxaca for the last many years ago. It is a fascinating event. If you're ever able to go to the birthplace of Dia de los Muertos, go to Oaxaca during their celebration. It is absolutely fascinating. The movie Coco hits the nail on the head. Go ahead and watch it. It is an amazing movie. It is a children's movie, but as we all know, those children's movies are really made for adults. Like the humor, the context. So yeah, we have that Friday night. Saturday is a really big day in Redondo Beach. In the morning, we have hazmat waste shredding event at Performing Arts Center. So if you hazmat waste or shredding, come on down to the Performing Arts Center. Redondo Beach cleanup team is meeting down at the beach at Ruby at 9 o'clock in the morning. In the afternoon, the Redondo Beach Women's Club on Pearl and Broadway are having their 100th gala. So they're here in Redondo Beach for 100 years this October. So I believe it's even this Saturday that it'll be exactly 100 years that they are so they opened up their doors. So that building is 100 years old, and go down. You can buy tickets. It's only $60. I highly recommend you guys go to their website. I have the website as Redondo Beach Women's Club, I think it is. It's all these events are on my Facebook page. So you can go to my Facebook page, and I threw them all down there as events. Halloween trick or treat is October 31st, Monday, October 31st, down the Riviera Village, 3 to 6 p.m. If you need a rain barrel, hopefully it rains this year, the West Basin Municipal Water District is giving out free rain barrels, Redondo Beach High School. You do have to sign up for it Saturday, October 29th. And then, of course, holiday stroll on December 1st. So Thursday, December 1st. So let's see here. Event, Pumpkin in the Park, Seaside Lagoon, Family Welcome, Saturday, October 29th, 2 to 4 p.m. That's right. I forgot about that. Thank you, Mary. That is, I believe the police department throws that on as well. Let's see here. What's happening at the end of Avenue C and PCH? There's an increase in for sale sign there. Down, we bought that lot. I don't. Oh, that lot. Yes, Avenue C. I think you mean Avenue D at PCH. The lot that they tore down. It's for sale. They had a plan to remodel it. The guy ran out of money, or he's trying to sell it. And yeah, I think there was some. Actually, I know there was some smoke and mirrors with that project because they wanted to leave the billboard that's in place. So they got rid of the building, left the billboard in place, which is no longer allowed Redondo, but with the grandfathered in. So it is for sale. Anyone wants to buy it, commercial property. Other than that, let me know if you have anything else. If you have any other events, questions, Andy?
Yes, I have one question, because you mentioned the Women's Club, building's 100 years old. I know that Janice Hahn was involved with this, so I don't know if Holly Mitchell knows about it, but the more than 100 years old, the oldest structure in the city is the staircase, Ainsworth Court Stairs, and that's in District 1, and I know it's owned by the county.
Yep.
So I just, with the change of council person, supervisor change, I just wanted to make sure it doesn't get left behind, that someday, somehow, maybe those stairs will be restored to some semblance of what they used to be from the Hotel Redondo, because that is the oldest actual construction or structure in the city of Redondo Beach, and that it shouldn't be forgotten. It should be restored as best possible.
So you're absolutely right, Andy. Those stairs are right by the bathrooms of Veterans Park there at the parking lot. We met, Mayor Brandon and I met with the Supervisor Hahn's office, as well as the Department of Beaches and Harbors at that location about 3 years ago, I want to say. In the fall, they said, yeah, we'll do some work to it. We don't have the funding to restore those stairs. The stairs that go down, you'll see, it's funny. What's funny about this, probably don't even know this, Andy, the stairs that you see going down, they have the railings, right?
Mhm.
And where you walk, and on the right hand side there, or the other side where the ice plant is, guess what? The stairs are still there.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yes, they're there.
Yep,
And-
and grown over with ice plants.
And of course, they destroyed the bottom part of the northern balustrade to put in a bathroom,
Yeah.
if that's not ridiculous.
So,
but
yeah.
Urban
that
renewal,
Excuse me?
that's urban renewal, just destroy the old or disregard it.
Yeah. So one thing we went over on the first meeting in October was preservation of a home in North Redondo, an 89-year-old home on 2501 Curtis Avenue. And it was 89 years old. It sits in the middle of 2 lots. It's one of the first homes that was built in North Redondo. Before it was even Redondo, it was actually built in, it's technically speaking, be like a homestead house because it was unincorporated LA County, not anywhere near Redondo Beach. Redondo Beach, and it came through and annexed the area many years later. It was built in 1933.
What's the address
Curtis-
again? I'm
What?
sorry, what was the address again?
2501 Curtis Avenue.
Got
You
it.
look it up. Go ahead and look it up on Google. It is a really cool looking house. It needs work. It needs a lot of work. It sits on a large lot. There's a lot of opportunity there. They were under a historic house. The Preservation Commission said, no, we're not going to lift the Historic Preservation Commission or historic certificate off of this house. The owner wanted to get rid of that because it's worth a lot more as 2 individual lots than it is with that single lot with that house on there.
The stone house.
Yeah, stone house, exactly. Stone house. The stones that are on there were claimed from an arroyo or a riverbed back up in Altadena area. And historically significant, it was a 4-1 vote to approve the appeal, which means to get rid of the historical designation on that particular house. I fought tooth and nail to preserve that house as a historical house. I think it's really important we preserve these old houses and old structures in Redondo Beach. Yes, it needed a lot of love, but you know what? You preserve that house. You do the house that you remodel the house correctly in the way that it was built. You have a house that's worth $2, $3, $4 million. It's a large lot. Sits on 2 lots actually. So everything, all the houses around it are on R2, R3. So they don't have yards. They don't have space. So I think it's a big shame that we voted the way the other council members did. I was in the minority on that, but it is what it is. So anyways, any other questions, comments? Yes, vote for Mike. Mike Martin is running for BCHD. Oh, one last thing. Elections, BCHD, there are 1 or 2 open spots, I believe. At least one. There's 2 school board spots opening up, 1 incumbent and 1 open spot. Thank you, Jill. 2, yes, so 2 and 2. So if you want to get on the school board or the BC's health district, you will have the chance to run for either one of those seats coming up here in the next month. You can pull paperwork, you can run. Mike Martin, who's on here, is running. I've endorsed him. You can go, Mike. He's running for BCHD. So if you've pulled paperwork and you're serious about it, you want an endorsement, give me a call. We'll go from there. Mr. Wayne Craig.
Oh, I was going to piggyback onto that. Risborough Waterfront is going to be having a candidate forum. We're actually going to get a chance for the people to meet Mike Martin because he's actually the only candidate who actually turned in a candidate statement, which I think is telling. He's really concerned about it. And, Redondo Beach, there's a lot of things happening. And the proposed project there is as big or almost as big as the waterfront project. So our members have been really interested in learning more about it. And Mike has actually served on one of the committees. I think it was on the finance, and I'm not sure which one. I have to look at my notes again. But it'd be a chance for you to meet him and ask questions. So we're going to be hosting that either on Monday or Tuesday night. I'll send out an announcement on that tomorrow.
Right, and just so everyone knows, BCHD, the candidates for that's already set. So here's your ballot, your LA County ballot, right? This is the LA County ballot. I don't actually, how many people are on the docket for that position?
Oh, there's two spots and that are open, and Mike's running for one of those 2.
And how many people are running?
Just 2, 3 total.
3 total. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I didn't want to say that. Okay, awesome. Well, so you get to vote on that here in the next 2-3 weeks. So I endorse Mike for that. It's an open thing. If you're gonna run for anything else, District 3, District 5 is open, as well as City Treasurer's office in Redondo Beach. And then of course, there's 2 school board seats. And I see Jerome Chang, your hand is up.
Hi all. Niels, I was hoping you would see the chat before I say anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's fine.
okay.
I won't make my endorsements for not that my vote really matters that much, but people coming as elected official for the school board. There's 2 open seats. So if I get 2 people that I want to endorse, I'll let the public know after all the things close and the things close. But I believe, Jerome, you are going to run for BCH or for school district.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Anything you want to say? You got a few minutes.
No, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm open to any feedback or ideas on how you'd like to see the next generation for board members, especially since we have a new superintendent, kind of a whole new chapter. So I'm all ears.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Anyone else have anything else? Want to say any events, any last minute questions or comments until next month? I will look at the chat. All right. Nothing else. So thank you guys very much. Our next meeting, in-person meeting, is the second Saturday of the month, and I believe that's November 12th. So November 12th at 9:30 in the morning at Alta Vista, and then sometime thereafter is going to be the online meeting, and then we'll go from there. So thank you guys very much for your enjoyment of showing up here and being a part of this, asking questions. It's people like you that make this community happen, and we get 75% votes on bad measures and bad recalls. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. See you guys next month.
Thank you, Nils.
Thanks, Nils.
Thanks, Niels.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.